Okay. Good evening all. This is Sidhu, Senior Lecturer in Chemistry, Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions, Dr. B.S. Rao Nagar Campus, Eka Goshala Campus. Today, I am here to discuss about how to study Inorganic Chemistry and Organic Chemistry for NEET. So, let's first discuss about Inorganic Chemistry. We know the first chapter, the gateway of Inorganic Chemistry, is periodic table. If you are a beginner, you can start with NCERT first chapter periodic table. But if you are already aware of the periodic table chapter, then that means you are preparing for the repeater course or long term course. You need to collect the data. The data is the periodic table properties in all the chapters of Inorganic Chemistry present in NCERT. Look at the file that we have collected. This file contains all the information regarding the elements in the periodic table. For example, you see this is the periodic table, first chapter. In that, in NCERT, there is a periodic table mentioned that we have collected. And then after that, there are certain important radii, the data that is collected from the again NCERT only. So we can write the important atomic radii or trends from the table collected from NCERT. For example, if they ask what is the atomic radii in a period, it decreases left to right. There are certain trends we can write by using this data. For example, lithium greater than, and then it is mentioned like this: lithium greater than, beryllium greater than, boron greater than, carbon greater than, nitrogen greater than, oxygen greater than, fluorine. Similarly for the next period. So like that, in NCERT we have data. The data we need to collect and we write the orders in the periodic table. Next table, suppose this is about down the group, what happens to atomic radii. Look at there, here down the group atomic radii increases. In alkali metals, the atomic radii increases. Look at there, here the trend is cesium greater than, rubidium greater than, potassium greater than, sodium greater than, lithium. Similarly, here also in case of halogens, we have iodine or astatine greater than, iodine greater than, bromine greater than, chlorine greater than, fluorine. So down the group atomic radii increases. Like that, we have certain trends. It is not just about these two groups. There are many informations we have from the NCERT. For example, you see the atomic radii of lithium or metallic radii of lithium and magnesium. If you compare, magnesium is greater than lithium. But if they ask what is the atomic radii of lithium plus and magnesium 2 plus. Look there, here you say lithium and magnesium, which is bigger in size. We know that magnesium is bigger in size because it is in the third period. Okay, good. But if you go for the ionic radii, lithium plus is bigger in size, greater than magnesium 2 plus, because magnesium 2 plus has plus 2 charge. Because of this charge, the effective nuclear charge increases, radius decreases. Look at the data. Magnesium 72 picometers, lithium 76 picometers. So therefore, data supports our argument. Data is very much important for inorganic chemistry. So this data you should collect from NCERT only. Let's go for next. Regarding trends, this is about atomic number and ionization energy trends, and else different trends I have got. Look at electron gain enthalpy trends, electronegativity trends, everything collected from periodic table of first chapter. And then we have some tables of from S block also. That means when you are preparing for a revision also, or if you are preparing for the long term, you need to collect the data from S block also when you are revising the periodic table. So in S block, we have the data that down the group, what happens to atomic radii. With the help of this table, we can get the information. And also down the group, what happened to ionization energy and other properties of elements. This is about S block. In that first one, that is alkali metals. Next, we have collected the information related to S block in that alkaline earth metals. same story we are going to get. And then after that, again we have the next group, that is P block. In P block, we know in case of radius we have an important exception. This exception is not extensively studied in periodic table of 11th class chapter, but it is studied in the P block. We know that even though the P block is deleted from NCERT textbook, but general properties of P block you must know. Therefore, you need to collect the information from the NCERT, the general properties of the P block elements, S block elements, okay, and P block elements in 12th class also. This is boron family, and then data from the carbon family, and then data from nitrogen family, data from oxygen family. All the data, if it is with you, okay, in a single, okay, file, then it will be very good for you. If possible, you can make the trends in a short notes and keep that with you in the final revision before NEET exam, before couple of hours also, because inorganic chemistry means you need to memorize them. Sometimes you need to remember them, okay, just before also we need to go through them to remember easily, okay, just before the exam, 2 to 3 hours before exam also, or okay, whatever, one day before or couple of days before also we need to revise. This is the halogen family, and then all the data, this is for noble gases, and also I have collected all the information for D block also, all the information of D block elements, F block elements and everything. So this is the NCERT file, NCERT data file for all the elements in the periodic table. So we know this is the gateway, this chapter is the gateway for the inorganic chemistry. The next chapter is about the chemical bonding. For chemical bonding, if you see the NCERT, the information is actually scattered because different faculty follow different way of teaching. Some people do start with ionic bond, and then they start with covalent bond, and then they go like that. As per my suggestion, ionic bond we can study at the beginning, and the basics of ionic bond. In that basics of ionic bond, how the ionic bond is formed, how the ionic bond, the factors influencing ionic bond, and then also very important one, the Poisson's rules, covalent character in ionic bond. These things you need to learn first. After learning this, you can enter covalent bond. In covalent bond, we know what is the first theory. There is a sequence that you need to follow. The first theory that helps to understand the chemical bonding is Lewis octet theory. So the students should know how to draw the Lewis octet configurations along with the formal charge. For example, if you see ozone, you know the structure of ozone. The structure of ozone we know it, and then the structure of ozone in that formal charges. What we think is actually, wait a minute, ozone does not carry any charges. O3 molecule does not carry any charge, what we think, but there are some formal charges for the ozone molecule. So here the ozone molecule, if you see the structure, this is like this will get. Here there is a formal charge on central atom. What is that one? +1. And there is a formal charge 0, and there is formal charge -1. And due to resonance, this formal charge is also changed. For example, ozone structure can also be written like this, that we know. Ozone structure can also be written like this, that we know. So due to the resonance, the formal charge on oxygen can be shared. Okay, for example, let me write in the notes. Yeah, so let's see the formal charge of ozone, O3. O3 has a resonance. So the O3 molecule can be written like this. There is formal charge -1 and there is formal charge +1 and 0. Here, due to resonance, the formal charge is shared. The formal charge is shared. The resonating hybrid of this ozone molecule is like this. Here the formal charge is becoming half, and this is becoming half, and this is +1 only. So like that, after writing Lewis dot structures, you need to know the formal charges, and we need to apply resonance to identify the average formal charge, also average bond order. So this is very important. And then after Lewis theory, and you need to know about the valency bond theory, how the bonds are formed, sigma bonds, pi bonds and their difference, and then you need to know the very important one. What is that? Hybridization, the concept of hybridization. After learning hybridization, you can go through valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. After covering these, the drawbacks of VBT and VSEPR and hybridization, you can go for the molecular orbital theory, the very important one. Molecular orbital theory, actually it can be on your fingertips. We know bond order, how do we calculate? If one electron is there, bond order is 0.5, two electron 0.0, like that you can make a table for molecular orbital theory, and you just before the exam also you can go through that once. And then you know the applications of hydrogen bonding and dipole moment also you can go through once. So this is the outline of the chemical bonding chapter. And then the upcoming chapters, if you see after chemical bonding, here the next chapter is this one, the P block. So if you talk about the P block of 11th class, up to what we need to study, this is the doubt for many of the students, because this topic, this chapter has been deleted from NCERT, but they are mentioning in NTA that general properties of the P block. So general properties of the P block, if you go for up to what and where we need to study, I think it is visible to you. Do look at. So here electronic configuration, atomic radii we need to go through, ionization enthalpy we need to go through, and electronegativity and other physical properties. Chemical properties also, I think I suggest you better go through the basic chemical properties. Basic chemical properties, for example, up to reactivity towards air, reactivity towards acids and alkalis. You can go through up to the basic chemical properties, and up to some important compounds. We can say that, for example, if it is boron family, up to the some important compounds we can go through it. So we don't need to worry about the depth of the important compounds of boron family. Similarly, this can be applied for all the chapters. This can be applied for all the chapters in P block. Boron family, carbon family, nitrogen family, oxygen family, halogen family, and noble gases. So these groups we need to go through up to the some important compounds or anomalous behavior of boron, like that, anomalous properties, because it is clearly mentioned in NTA syllabus that we need to study up to anomalous properties of the second period elements. The next after P block, 11th class and 12th class, the next important chapter is obviously the D block and F block. In case of D and F block elements, it is very important that each and every line in NCERT is very important. In D and F block elements, each and every line in NCERT is important, and these lines you can make a short notes. Usually we do give the short notes to the students. If you are preparing your own notes also, it is good. In classroom obviously we do give the short notes. Then if you see that electronic configurations, some important exceptions in electronic configurations, for example palladium. Palladium has, what is the configuration? Palladium electronic configuration, if you see, what is that? Palladium. So it is after krypton. What we expect, 4s2 should be, but it is 4s0, and then here, sorry, 5s0 and 4d10. This is an important exceptional electronic configuration. Like palladium, we know copper, chromium, everyone knows copper and chromium has exception, but some other important exceptions you can collect from D block of 12th class NCERT. Palladium, platinum, gold, silver, these are the very important exceptional electronic configurations. And then you can go through the points. The in-text questions also important. In-text questions also, from in-text questions itself we can we can create the objective questions. Now physical properties in that, how the trends vary, how the melting points vary, which has the highest melting point, what is the element with the highest melting point, I mean tungsten, or what is the metal with highest melting point, that is tungsten. Down the group, if you go for alkali metals, melting points decreases, but here it increases. What is the reason? Everything is there in the NCERT text only. You need to, from each para, you need to create some short notes or bullet points after going through the each paras. Even though it is little hectic, the D block, but you need to go through, because as the core P block has been removed, the weightage for D and F block obviously has been increased. Therefore, you need to go through this chapter, every detail, potentials and their orders, everything, ionization enthalpies and their orders, why reasons, what are the reasons for exceptional ionization energy. For example, which of the following element has highest third ionization energy, if they ask. For example, which of the following element has highest third ionization energy? Highest third ionization energy. And the elements they have given like this: manganese, chromium, iron, and then for example you can go for titanium, for example. So what is the answer? We'll get manganese, because Mn2 plus has D5 configuration. Third ionization energy means we need to remove third electron from the +2 state. So what is the stable state here for a manganese, that is +2 state? It has 3d5 configuration. Due to half-filled orbitals, it has a stable configuration. Therefore, its ionization energy is more. Like that, you can collect some important examples from NCERT. And the next important one is potentials and their trends. Why copper has positive potential? Due to high hydration enthalpy, due to high enthalpy of atomization. Like that, you need to know about some important exceptions in the D block electrode potentials. And then oxides and their stability. Everything from the NCERT lines, we can make a table and we can make the short notes. Important colors. Next, alloys. Regarding alloys, some important alloys. Just you don't need to remember too many number of alloys. Suppose if they ask, okay, for example, what is brass contains? At least remember copper, zinc. Brass contains copper, zinc, or bronze contains copper, tin. Just focus on only few things. What is there in what is mentioned in NCERT, because we cannot get everything. We cannot remember everything. That's impossible. Oxides and their nature. And here the important properties of potassium dichromate, very important. So you know that potassium dichromate is an oxidizing agent. How it is prepared? Potassium dichromate oxidizing properties and the balancing equation also you need to do that. Not only potassium dichromate, potassium permanganate also. You need to know the properties of all of them. Better to balance the equation also. Next, F block elements. In F block elements, first try to remember the elements. What are the elements present in F block? In F block, the main focus is on lanthanide contraction. Main focus is on lanthanide contraction and stability of oxidation states. Stability of oxidation states. And then rarely they may ask about the chemical properties. In that, one line is asked in previous NEET. For example, first half of the elements resembles. Look at this. First half of the elements, actinides are, for example, lanthanides, if you say direct NCERT line only we have got. Look at first half of the elements resembles which element, second half of the elements resembles which element. They are asking about the chemical properties in their chemical behavior. Right. And the next, actinoids. Again, same in actinoids also, try to learn the element names and then if possible electronic configuration. And I strongly suggest you to compare the behavior of lanthanides and actinides. You can go through that. This is about F block elements. Now the most important chapter, that is the coordination compound. In inorganic chemistry, the weightage, if you see that chemical bonding and coordination compounds almost have the equal weightage. In coordination compounds, every complex from NCERT is important. Every complex you need to collect, you need to trace it out and write in a notes that all the complexes, each complex you need to write, and then its name, and then it's the central metal oxidation state, and then it's valency bond theory. As for valency bond theory, it's hybridization and shape or geometry, and then about the molecular adaltery, I mean metal carbon bond. If it is so, then what is about synergistic effect? Everything about the complexes you need to write down. So I strongly suggest all the complexes, whatever NCERT you find in NCERT. For example, in first page, whatever the complexes you find them, you can collect them and then write in a separate notes, and then write the IUPAC name, every detail about the complex. If you collect all those complexes, hardly you will get 100 complexes or less than that. These 100 complexes, names, structure, geometry, magnetic moment, crystal field theory, and if synergistic effect is there, metal carbon bond, synergistic effect, everything if you know, that's all, not more than that. In this NEET, they don't go beyond those 100 complexes. You see that complexes, you can try to collect them. Clear? So, and also ligands and their nature, everything, strictly everything from NCERT. Don't need to go beyond a single line from the NCERT. Everything you will get from the NCERT only. How to write the names. Look at these complexes. For example, NCERT, I can say that. Look at this, these complexes and their names. You can try to collect. You can try to learn them. Not more than that. Isomerism also. The same complexes, try to find the isomerism, number of isomerism, types of isomerism shown by each complex. And then bonding. In valency bond theory, we need to go through some postulates neatly. You know how to write the geometry and everything, you know it. But postulates, sometimes some lines, you need to go through them properly. And also in drawbacks also, we need to go through the lines. Each and every line from the drawbacks of valency bond theory. You can go through it. Even magnetic properties also. Some complexes, some selected complexes you can get from the NCERT and try to practice them. That is my suggestion. Limitations, look at this. These limitations, these points are very close, such that they may create some confusion if they ask all the above correct option or multiple correct option. So please go through all the points once again. You know, a crystal field theory, how to write the electronic configuration, that is very, very important. Just before NEET exam, maybe one day or 4 or 5 hours before also, I strongly suggest you to go through the spectrochemical series. Spectrochemical series, everyone get confusion. Everyone do forget. I will give a important shortcut also. Always keep this in mind. Carbon donor is better donor. After that, nitrogen donor. After that, oxygen donor. And then, halogen donor. Very interesting comparison if you see. See, SCN, NCS, which is better donor. There is a confusion regarding this. In NCS, N is the donor. In SCS, SCN, S is the donor. So obviously N is better donor than. So try to remember that. Just before the exam also, you need to go through this order, the spectrochemical series. Then let's go for next, the colors. And I think I suggest, if you want to crack holiday first rank, you need to remember the colors also. Colors of the complexes also, there is a chance. But generally, they focus on the wavelength of absorption, not on the color, particular color complex. Only rarely they ask the color of the complex. So therefore, I suggest you to, if you want to go through, it's up to you. If you can remember, you can go through it. Otherwise, you can simply focus on wavelength of absorption based on the crystal field and stabilization energy. And next, the limitations of CFT, and then bonding in metal carbonyls, how the carbonyls are arranged. Suppose what is the which of the following complex has metal-metal bond? For example, the NCERT complex itself we can go through. These complexes at least try to remember and their geometry. Suppose last year question only, what is the geometry of FeCO5, trigonal bipyramidal? Like that, these complexes. Focus only on these complexes, don't go beyond that. And then importance. Importance, what is very, very important. For example, suppose if you want to extract the gold, what is the complex we get upon cyanation? It is dicyanide complex. Like that, these complexes. And for example, another one, if you see EDTA, what is the purpose of EDTA? Okay, what is the, we can estimate the hardness and how to estimate the nickel. DMG is the ligand that can be used for estimation of the nickel. These are the some important applications. For example, vitamin B12 contains what? Cyanocobalamin contains what? Which element? Cobalt. Like that we need to know. Suppose enzyme carboxypeptidase has which one? Which element? Zinc. That you need to know. And very important one, Wilkinson's catalyst. Wilkinson's catalyst, you know that this is used for homogeneous catalysis, homogeneous hydrogenation of oils to fats. So these examples you need to know. So this is the end of the important tips for studying inorganic chemistry for NEET exam. Now let's discuss about organic. So for organic chemistry, do the NCERT sufficient? That is the question by many of them. In organic chemistry, we strongly suggest that you need to focus only on NCERT. But for organic chemistry, to understand the basics, NCERT is not sufficient. We can say that in 11th class organic chemistry, that NCERT information is not sufficient. You need to go through a bit of details. For that, the class notes is very important. 11th class NCERT, especially the IUPS nomenclature, we need more examples to understand. In NCERT, they do give only brief information. Not only nomenclature, structural isomerism, if you take it, they simply give few lines. You can see that, for example, the organic chemistry basics, GOC, the first chapter. Here, the NCERT is not sufficient for the basics. You need to go through the NCERT, but class notes is must. You need to listen to the class teacher properly. So the class notes is very important because we need more examples to understand organic chemistry for the beginner. So these NCERT examples are not sufficient, I can tell. This gives an information which is precise, but it is just precise or concise information, but we need little comprehensive information to understand the basics of organic chemistry. So they give nomenclature, few examples. Yes, you need to cover the examples in NCERT. All examples in NCERT you need to cover. This is my suggestion. All examples in NCERT you need to cover. But something more you need to learn from the class notes. This is about nomenclature. If you see benzene compound, only few they have given. If you are a repeater, in each chapter of class 11th and 12th, for example, in 11th hydrocarbons, nomenclature of alkanes, some examples are there. Nomenclature of alkenes, some examples are there in alkenes chapter. Nomenclature of alkynes, some examples are there. Now 12th class first chapter, haloalkanes. All the nomenclature examples in NCERT starting page, second page or starting page, or NCERT exercise problems in haloalkanes, you need to collect and write the names. Next, alcohols, phenols, ethers. All the examples related to nomenclature in NCERT, first 2 pages of each subtopic, alcohols, phenols, ethers, you need to collect. Similarly, for next chapter, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids, and amines also. First chapter has some names. Those names, common names, IUPS names, you need to collect and make a file, make a note. Then you will be perfect in the nomenclature. These first year examples are not sufficient. That's what, as a faculty, we do collect all those examples and we present to the students. Next, after nomenclature, about isomerism. Isomerism also in NCERT, we don't have much information. That's the problem. Look at that. They just mentioned what type of isomerism. What is chain isomerism? What is positional isomerism? That's all. They don't mention anything. So therefore, I suggest you to collect more examples. Okay, as a faculty, we do give more examples and we do practice. We do make the students to practice more examples. This is my suggestion. NCERT is not enough for nomenclature and isomerism. Even for GOC also, I mean to say the nature of electronic effects, we can say that the examples are not sufficient. They give clear idea how the effects do take place. But the examples are not enough, or illustrations are not enough to understand the depth of the topic of electronic effects, inductive effect, mesomeric effect, resonance. Of course, you need to go through all the points in NCERT. Beyond NCERT, we need to go little. For example, some points, resonance, how the resonance takes place, these points, okay, you need to go through, obviously, okay, but some extra information is required for us, hyperconjugation and all these. And then after that, types of reactions also, very basic level only. Then next, if you go for the methods of purification of organic compounds, strictly NCERT we need to go through. All the lines in NCERT are important. Methods of purification of organic compounds, sublimation, crystallization, distillation, differential extraction, chromatography, every line in NCERT is important. Not only the purification, we need to go through NCERT strictly for qualitative as well as quantitative analysis. I suggest you to strictly go for NCERT for qualitative as well as quantitative analysis. Strictly NCERT. No need to go beyond NCERT. Again, I am telling you, IUPS in nomenclature, collect the examples from class 11th and 12th textbooks, and then collect the examples for isomerism from class 11th and 12th textbook. Also, get the notes from the lecturers. That notes you have to go through thoroughly, and then practice for isomerism. GOC, you need to go through NCERT because how the phenomena takes place is explained neatly in NCERT, but the examples are not sufficient. The examples are not sufficient. So therefore, lecture notes, class notes is very much important for IUPAC, isomerism and GOC. And what about purification? Strictly NCERT. Strictly NCERT. And then what about qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis? Again, strictly NCERT we need to go through. Detection of elements and everything. Strictly NCERT we need to follow. Even the questions, the percentage estimations, everything you can go through the NCERT only. So this is about the first chapter, GOC, General Organic Chemistry. And the next chapter, hydrocarbons. Regarding hydrocarbon chapter, regarding the preparation methods, again we have an issue with NCERT. Preparation methods and properties of hydrocarbons. You see that, a minute. Regarding the hydrocarbons, the preparation methods of alkanes not sufficient. We need to go through NCERT, but they are not sufficient. They are not sufficient. Okay. And what about properties? Yes, you can go through NCERT again and they are not sufficient. For alkanes, we need to go through the class notes because class notes have vast number of examples to give clear idea. What about physical properties? Yes, you need to go through NCERT and collect the data from this table. For example, I will tell one thing. Melting point, if you see, boiling points, okay, melting points, one interesting finding you see from the NCERT data. Propane, methane, which has more melting point. Generally, what we guess, methane has less melting point than propane. If you see the data from NCERT, look at the melting point of methane is 90 degrees and propane is 85 degrees. So therefore, for physical properties, we can depend on the NCERT data. Next, chemical properties, mechanism, briefly they have given, but these are not sufficient, I am telling, for a hydrocarbons chapter. But these reactions you must learn, including the temperature also. They have mentioned some temperatures, pressures, everything. So obviously in class notes we do go little beyond this. So you don't need to worry. You go through the class notes. Conformational isomerism that we know. Alkenes also same story. Alkenes also, the preparation methods or properties from NCERT are not sufficient. For alkenes and alkynes, also benzene, I can say that. Also benzene. Everything you should better, I suggest you to go through the class notes, including NCERT. NCERT we need to go through, class notes is very much important. Obviously, we do cover everything, whatever there in the NCERT. Okay, and then if you see that last, okay, some suppose carcinogens, for example, this green box, okay, which causes cancer, these things, they are generally nobody focuses, but I suggest you better you go through them also. 1,2-benzandrothene and its structure and this. If you are aiming for all India first rank, you should not leave no stone unturned. That is my suggestion. Now let's go to the 12th class organic chemistry. 12th class organic chemistry, if you see, I suggest NCERT. Every line is important. In 11th class, to get some strong foundation, you need to depend on the lecture notes, obviously. But in 12th class, we don't need to go not a single point beyond NCERT. Especially if you go for these chapters like haloalkanes, haloarenes, everything you need to focus only on NCERT. Suppose in organic chemistry 12th class, if there is a chance of 12 questions, 11th class around 6 questions, 18 questions, if I am generally telling, I am telling 60% share for 60 or 70% share for 12th class chemistry. Out of 12 questions, 10 to 11 questions do come from NCERT context. We do frame the questions from the NCERT only, NCERT lines only. So therefore, I strongly suggest just focus only on NCERT reactions, line to line, not a single point. You don't need to go for more than NCERT. And also you can do the problems in NCERT, in-text problems, exercises. If you are perfect in them, 12th class organic chemistry, you are done with the 12th class organic chemistry and also total organic chemistry, I can say that. Because in 12th class NCERT, all topics cover the basics also. Acidic strength, basic strengths, GOC, carbocation stability, everything is covered in the 12th class. So it is highly comprehensive. So it is a single word or single statement, I can say. 11th class, little beyond NCERT we need to go through for nomenclature, isomerism and GOC. But 12th class, I strongly suggest focus completely should be on NCERT only. So this is the important tip for organic chemistry I can give. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.